I finally managed to AFK my wither skeleton farm overnight, and I set up a turtle egg over here because the last time I tried to AFK here overnight, I had a pigman spawn here, walk in front of me, got hit by my sword, and then he decided he wanted to kill me for that. And so now I've got the turtle egg over here, and that appears to have done the trick because I was able to AFK here overnight. So let's clear all these guys out. Always so satisfying to hit these guys in their ankles and have them all die in a stream of XP. Very, very fun. But we've got a lot of rewards. I've already crafted everything up. We've got 30 shulker shells full of bone blocks here. So there's even a few back here. And then a little bit more up here. Got, what, 7 shulker shells full of blocks of coal. And 4 shulker boxes of wither skeleton skulls. I'm going to do something with those wither skeleton skulls in this episode. I'm very excited about that. But I'm also going to use all this bone. We're going to send that over to the nether tree farm. And I want to do some improvements on the nether tree farm as well. And I'll probably ship a little bit more of this coal over to Qarm. So all very useful resources. But before I do any of that kind of stuff, I got another farm that Asta wants me to set up. I seem to have received some sort of gift while I was AFKing the tree farm. Only one way to open this that I can think of. Maybe not the best way to open it. Let's see what we have inside. I figured out that you might need some of these human bodies. The trading hall guy. I know you already have a lot of these, but still. Bones. All right. I got a whole bunch of bones for Christmas. I assume that's from Asta. I realized when watching that back that I read bones as bodies. I like it better the way I read it. It turns out this gift was actually from Qarm, and I don't think he appreciated the way I opened it very much, because he actually came back and fixed it. It's really nice looking gift. I guess he just freehanded this. It looks a lot better than the janky stocking that Asta and I threw together in like 5 minutes. So I've got a whole bunch of extra coal from AFKing that wither farm, and so I'm going to go deliver that to him, and that'll make sure that he has enough for his build as well as plenty for builds in the future. Looks like he hasn't actually opened the stocking yet. I know he knows it's there, and I know he knows it's filled with coal. He's seen my video, but I think he wants to open it on camera, and he needs a chance to do that. But it gives me an opportunity to sneak in here. He's actually working over there. I don't think he's seen me yet. And we can sneak in here and add some coal to it, and that should be a nice surprise for him. Just go ahead and plop down. I actually got 9 shulker boxes. I've got a ton of this stuff. I don't really need as much of it as there is. So we're actually stuffing the stocking full of coal. So Asta is working on something over the raid farm, and I'll go over that in just a minute. And it ends up, I actually left a lot of redstone over at the raid farms. We crafted up, we had 2 rows of redstone blocks. I left some for Asta because he's going to actually be able to make it so that we can AFK the farm a little bit more. And I'm going to leave 4 of these redstone blocks for Qarm as well. So he's going to be very, very surprised by this gift here. He is not going to be expecting that. That should be a really nice opening for him. So I'm over here at the raid farm, and this is the storage here for our emeralds. Each one of these lights represents 2 double chests filled with shulker boxes filled with emeralds. It is a lot of emeralds, and we'd like to craft them down into emerald blocks. It makes them a lot easier to carry off to somewhere else. But it's a very tedious process, and we've been sitting on these for weeks. I've been wanting to AFK this raid farm, but the storage here is full. And if I AFK for much longer, it will fill up completely, and then bad things will happen. We'll probably end up losing items up there. We don't want that to happen. We do want to keep these emeralds. It's just we haven't bothered crafting them down, and so we can't AFK the farm. So AstaZora has come up with a really clever idea for an AFK crafting system. So that's a really cool system. He's actually started building it already here, and so I've ripped out this old crafter right here. It looks just like this. This one we're keeping for the redstone and the glowstone. We don't get nearly as much of those, so it's much easier to manually craft them. But that is a lot of emeralds, and manually crafting them is a very tedious process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bulk up the storage here. I'm going to carry it all the way down to right here, and then connect it down to his system down there, and then I'll help him finish up the AFK crafting system, and then we'll go over how that works once we've got all that built. But this should be a godsend for our raid farm. So this is the crafting system that AstaZora came up with. I will let him cover most of the details in his own video because this is his brainchild. He came up with this. I helped him design it a little bit, but this was a really clever idea on his part. So he'll cover it in quite a bit more detail than I will in his own video. And if you're looking for a schematic, it will not be in my video. I will link his video and he will have the schematic in that one. So basically the concept though is we've got all the items streaming down. We can turn this on and off and we've got it going into a whole bunch of shulker unloaders. These are 8-speed shulker unloaders, each one of these. So this is capable of spitting out 576,000 items per hour. This will empty out 6 double chests filled with shulker boxes per hour. So that's pretty awesome. And we can come down here. You can see them being spit into the water. You can actually drop down here. And look at that flow through. That is marvelous to see. And they just go into a water stream and then they are sent down right into AstaZora's feet. He's standing right underneath the crafting table and he's using item scroller to auto craft. And we can actually AFK that. And then the items, the emerald blocks, are being sorted into some shulker box loaders over here. And that's the whole process basically. As we come over here, we'll see emerald blocks being loaded up. So it seems to be working really, really well. It's a big build, but for what it does, this actually didn't take us long for us to build. And for what it does, it is awesome. It will save us a lot of time. So it took us an hour or two to build this, and it will save us many, many hours of crafting. So it's definitely worth it. And it's a very cool system. Well, that was a pretty cool distraction, but Asta has a farm that he wanted me to build for him, and I'd like to get back to work on that. So Asta needs a bunch of feathers for something he's got upcoming. So let's build a mega chicken farm that's so big, I needed to put it in the N in order to keep it from lagging everything else out. So this is the chicken farm that I came up with. I don't know if it's the fastest possible chicken farm, but it's the fastest AFK chicken farm that I could come up with. Like I said, by breeding them with seeds, you could make them faster, but I couldn't find a decent way to make them AFKable. Unfortunately, this is still kind of a pretty slow farm. In my testing, we were getting about 1,000 chicken and feathers per hour, which is pretty slow. I'm going to try and push that a little bit further by putting more chickens in this pen right here. Right now we've got 300. In my testing in creative, at about 1,000, it started getting pretty laggy. So we tested it at 500, and that's where we were getting 1,000 per hour of the drops. And I'd like to see if I can push that up to like 750 to 800. But I've got to wait. These guys have to lay enough eggs for me to add more chickens to here. So right now, I'm collecting all the eggs. So this is the egg farm part of the farm. So this is just a bunch of chickens that run around and they lay eggs, and the eggs are collected by minecarts that run underneath them back and forth. And right now I've got the switch right here. If I have this off, then all the eggs are going to come down into this chest right here. So I've already got a decent amount. I can go up there and throw all those eggs in the pen and add some more chickens to the pen. And if I turn this off, then all the eggs are going to go into these dispensers right here. They're going to get dispensed into the water. And we got this water channel here that'll push them all up into these slabs right here. And this is a trick I got from my villager breeding hall. It's actually from Nembomb's villager breeding hall. With the villagers, there would actually be a solid block right here, and the baby villagers would grow up through that solid block and hit the water above their head, and that would drag them over. And that doesn't work with chickens. Chickens aren't quite as tall, so we use slabs instead, and it actually still works. The adult chickens will grow up through the slabs, they'll hit this water, and they'll get pulled over there. Let me turn that off because I actually want all these eggs. But you can see some of the baby chickens were actually getting moved over into the water right there. So, and they're staying underneath the slabs, and when they grow up to adults, they will go through those slabs. And then because the rates were pretty slow, I decided we wanted to add a looting to this. So basically they get pulled over into this water channel, they get pulled over here, and you can stand here with your looting sword and whack them away. And then all the items will get collected and sent down into shulker box loaders down there. So yeah, very simple farm. Like I said, it's just basically one of those micro farms, but scaled up much larger. So I just got to stand here and wait for them to lay enough eggs for me to get up to, like I said, I want to get up to 750, 800 chickens. If I end up with too many and it ends up lagging up the server, I can always kill some of them, but I'd rather try and push the envelope as far as I can get to get as many drops as I can, because it is still kind of a slow farm, but it wasn't that hard to build. All right, so I got the farm all set up. We are right on the edge of 50 MSPT. So this is 700 chickens here, 690 some odd. I might have to kill 100 of them because we're right on the edge of 20 TPS. So if somebody else logs on, I will probably be hurting their experience. So I might want to kill 100 of these chickens, but we've gotten to the point where these guys, so here's all the baby chickens. It's actually quite a lot of them, and you can actually see the adults are growing up and coming out of this section here. And then we've got them over here, and we just stand here and kill them. And it turns out, because I set up 3 filters, one for raw chicken, one for cooked chicken, and one for feathers. And because they're still in the water, I'm only getting raw chicken right now. So I could move this water path over 1 block, and then they wouldn't be in the water, and then I would get the cooked chicken as well. I actually, personally, I want the raw chicken. I don't mind cooking it. I want to get a shulker box of both just to say that I had them. So I would have preferred the raw chicken anyways. But if you wanted to make this yourself, you might want to move this water pathway over 1 so that you can use your sword to decide, because when they're in the water, the fire aspect sword doesn't do anything. But yeah, as you can see, they come in kind of slowly. It's a slow farm, but I can AFK this thing overnight, and I should get several shulker boxes of feathers and chicken, which should hold me out for quite a while. So it's still a decent farm. Well, it looks like 500 is about the best I could do. We're getting somewhere in the 30 to 40 MSPT with this many chickens. I think it's kind of an exponential thing. The more they collide, the more lag they create. So a bigger pen, I might have been able to have more chickens, but on the bright side, I did get all these raw chickens, which strangely the fire aspect sword doesn't seem to give me cooked chicken very often. Maybe something changed there, so oh well. But farm seems to be working pretty well nonetheless. So after an AFK overnight at this farm, we've got 12 shulker boxes of feathers, which is really nice. And it turns out it looks like it's the sweeping edge that's causing the raw chicken, because I'm only getting 3 shulker boxes of raw chicken, whereas I have 8 shulker boxes of cooked chicken. And a little bit up. Oh, this one's actually full, so that one should be popping fairly soon. And so yeah, lots and lots of cooked chicken and a little bit of raw chicken, so that makes sense. If you didn't want the raw chicken, then you would probably just have to not use a sweeping edge sword. But yeah, the farm's working great. It's now 2 days after Christmas, and I have been AFK at this wither skeleton farm the last 3 nights in a row, and I have finally managed to accumulate 9 shulker boxes of wither skeleton skulls. This is enough to give all 3 players on the server a shulker box of beacons, and I'd like to do that. Back in episode 32, I set up the wither killing machine, which is the fastest way I know of to kill that many withers. It kills about 4,500 withers per hour, and we've used it a couple of times, and there is still a very convoluted way to get to that. And I'd like to fix that first, because we have to start at the bottom of the nether, go up these stairs to right underneath the nether roof, and then we got to travel through this tiny tunnel for about 400 blocks. It's not an easy method to get to there, and I'd like to fix that by breaking a hole in the roof where it is so that we can just jump down into it. I'd also like to improve this little machine here. When I first made it, I noted that there were 2 different versions. There was the somewhat manual version, which is what I made, and then there was a version that had shulker box unloaders, both for the soul sand and for the wither skeleton skulls. And at the time, I called it overkill and said that I didn't need that. It's actually got a double shulker loader for the nether wither skeleton skulls, which is complete overkill. Then I don't need the rest of all this extra stuff. Well, guess what, past me? Now I need that, and it doesn't feel like overkill at all. I mean, this is definitely overkill, but still, I'm going to do it. But I'm going to have to break a lot more bedrock in order to do it, because you can see all of this is up in the bedrock. So basically all of this right here is going to have to go in order to make room for the shulker box unloader. It doesn't look like it should be too bad over here. Might have to break a little bit extra bedrock for all this, but it shouldn't be too bad over there. But on this side, we're definitely going to have to break quite a bit of bedrock, which is why I didn't want to do it in the first place, but now it doesn't seem too bad. So I've been looking at the original world download by Fallen Breath, and it doesn't really distribute the wither skeleton skulls evenly across these 3 dispensers here. Instead, it relies on having an awful lot of wither skeleton skulls, and it just fills all this up completely and doesn't really care about distribution. And this may change at some point in the future, but that doesn't really work for me. I want to make sure that I'm getting every possible nether star out of all of my wither skeleton skulls, and that means I need it to distribute them as evenly as possible. So I've made a copy over here, and I've set up a separate shulker box unloader for each of the dispensers here. So now each one has its own shulker box unloader here, and so I can just put 3 shulker boxes in each of these, and then I can make sure that they're all being distributed perfectly evenly, because that's just the way it works. It does mean, however, that I'm going to have to break bedrock for all of this section right here. Basically, this is the top of the nether roof right here. So all of this is going to require some broken bedrock, but that shouldn't be too big of a deal. And then also there is a redstone line over here that stops the machine. It's supposed to stop the machine when it's out of wither skeleton skulls, so that if you continue placing soul sand when there's no more wither skeleton skulls, then it'll push the soul sand through this glass and break the machine, and that can be pretty bad. You don't want that to happen. So it's supposed to stop the machine, but it doesn't stop it when it's completely out. It stops it when it's mostly out, and its definition of mostly out is kind of loose. So right here, this hopper is empty right here, and it has stopped the machine. But there are 2 droppers here and a dispenser filled with wither skeleton skulls, and it has stopped the machine. You can't even operate the machine anymore. So that's not going to work for me either. So instead, I'm going to have to rely on just using the proper amount of soul sand. For every 3 shulker boxes of wither skeleton skulls, I will use 4 shulker boxes of soul sand. And that way, it should make sure that once I run out of soul sand, I can't place anymore, and then I shouldn't end up placing too much. So this right here is what I want to build. So I just finished breaking all this bedrock, and I got a message from Asta. He wants me to come to my trading hall. He wants to show me something. So let's go see what he wants. All right, I've come to the trading hall. I'm not sure exactly what Asta... Whoa, oh, hey! Oh my God! I guess he's still mad about me blowing up his house. Oh my God, there's a second set of missiles! Oh no! Ah! Oh no! Is that my whole trading hall? Yeah, basically. Well, there's no hope for my trading hall, unfortunately, but we do have the wither killing machine to fall back on. You can see that it actually ended up in a very convenient location accidentally. You can see the nether hub over there. We've got a pathway that runs right by it. And then over there, we've got the bartering hall and the basalt generator. There's a pathway that runs over those, and very convenient because we need soul sand for this, and so it's a very short trip over there to go and grab the soul sand that I needed. And I've got everything all set up. We can see here's the shulker box loader. I had to cover some of it up with carpet to make sure that we didn't get any spawns here. And then I actually needed access to these dispensers here, so I put buttons on them instead. Those are all loaded up. I've got everything primed up and ready to go. And I've done a pre-check to make sure everything's working, and I'm pretty sure we are 100% good to go. So let's come over here. I am a little nervous here. Let's turn it on. We should start getting some soul sand, and I'm just going to place 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn it off, and we should get a wither. It should stay contained, hopefully. It looks like it's very contained. It looks like everything's working properly. So let me wait for this guy to die, and then we'll test it on a much larger scale and make sure that everything's working properly then. We've angered some pigmen there, but it looks like everything's working. All right, the wither is down. Time to give this a larger scale test. Let's turn it on here for a second. Try and get a few of these going at a time. We'll give it a pause here and just make sure that everything's working properly. That we don't randomly let withers out. That would be very, very bad. Oh, and let's step back a little bit. We've created a pigman farm, apparently. Maybe I should have turned the mob switch off, but this is fun. All right, it looks like we're good here. Let's go ahead and do it full scale. This thing kills 4,500 per hour, and we've got 5,184 to kill. So it'll take a little over an hour for me to kill all these guys. All right, I've killed 5,184 withers, and now I have 3 shulker boxes filled with nether stars. This is an awesome sight. This is very, very cool. But it's going to take 15 shulker boxes of glass in order to turn these into beacons. So I guess I'm off to the trading hall to get some more glass. Man, I love this trading hall. It's a great way to get glass. We got 20 shulker boxes of glass. I went a little bit overboard on purpose. I like to get a little bit extra every time I come here so that I'm slowly building up the amount of glass that I have. So that should give us enough glass to make all those beacons. Let's head back and make 3 shulker boxes of beacons. 15 shulker boxes of glass, 9 shulker boxes of obsidian, and 3 shulker boxes of nether stars. This should be a fun crafting task here. Well, that's certainly more beacons than I've ever seen in one place. That is a nice sight to see. 3 shulker boxes of beacons. So let's go hand these out. It looks like Qarm still hasn't opened this stocking here. I don't think he's been able to record during the holidays. That makes perfect sense to me. But it's a great opportunity because it means we could stuff this thing absolutely full. So there's the redstone blocks. Let's add in a shulker box of beacons. That should be a really nice surprise for him. And then we might as well give him a couple shulker boxes of cooked chicken, just because we can. And yeah, that's pretty full. That seems like a good place to stop right there. Merry Christmas, Qarm. Now, AstaZora, he blew up my trading hall. Now, I did agree to get him those feathers, and he's going to use those for something cool, so I'll leave him the feathers. I also agreed to get him some wither skeleton skulls, some extra ones. So I'll leave those, and I'll even leave a couple shulker boxes of cooked chicken here for him. But he blew up my trading hall. I think I'm going to save these beacons for myself. So that's all I have time for today. I guess since Asta did set us up with some new emerald crafting, it's a good opportunity to try and do another extended raid farm AFK session. But I want to thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope to see you again real soon. Bye now.